On the night of October 26, explosions rocked two key military facilities in Iran. The blasts, attributed to Israeli airstrikes, targeted sites associated with Iran's ballistic missile program. The strikes represent a significant escalation of tensions between the two countries and have raised fears of a wider regional conflict. The attacks were precise and devastating, sending a clear message about Israel's commitment to disrupting Iran's military ambitions. The timing of the attacks, in the dead of night, suggests a calculated attempt to minimize casualties. However, the choice of targets speaks volumes about Israel's strategic objectives. These were not random acts of aggression, but carefully planned operations aimed at the heart of Iran's defense infrastructure. The aftermath of the attack saw a flurry of diplomatic activity, with world leaders calling for restraint. The United States, while not directly involved in the strikes, has been a vocal supporter of Israel's right to defend itself. However, the Biden administration is also acutely aware of the risks of escalation and is working to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. The two facilities targeted in the October 26 strikes were Parchin and Khojir, both located near the Iranian capital of Tehran. Parchin is a sprawling military complex believed to house a range of sensitive activities, including the development and testing of missile components. Khojir, on the other hand, is known for its role in the production of solid-fuel rocket motors, a crucial technology for Iran's ballistic missile arsenal. Satellite imagery analysis reveals the extent of the damage inflicted on these facilities. At Parchin, multiple buildings were destroyed or severely damaged, including structures thought to be involved in missile research and development. The strikes on Khojir appear to have been equally precise, targeting key production facilities and storage areas. The damage at both sites is significant and will likely set back Iran's missile program, at least in the short term. The loss of infrastructure, equipment, and potentially skilled personnel will be difficult to replace quickly. David Albright, a former weapons inspector and president of the Institute for Science and International Security, believes that the strikes were intended to send a message to Iran. He argues that Israel is particularly concerned about Iran's progress in developing more advanced missiles, including those capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Albright suggests that the strikes were a warning to Tehran that its nuclear ambitions will not be tolerated. Decker Eveleth, a researcher at the James Martin Center for Non-Proliferation Studies, focuses on the technical aspects of the strikes. Analyzing satellite imagery, Eveleth points to the precision of the attacks, noting that they appear to have been carefully planned to maximize damage while minimizing civilian casualties. He suggests that the strikes demonstrate a high level of intelligence gathering and military capability on the part of Israel. Both experts agree that the strikes represent a significant escalation in the shadow war between Israel and Iran. They also acknowledge the risk of retaliation from Tehran, either directly or through its proxies in the region. The immediate impact of the strikes is undeniable. The destruction at Parchin and Khojir will undoubtedly disrupt Iran's missile production capabilities. The loss of key infrastructure, equipment, and potentially experienced personnel will be difficult to overcome in the short term. However, the long-term effects are less certain. Iran has demonstrated a remarkable ability to absorb and recover from setbacks in the past. The country has a long history of developing its military capabilities under sanctions and international pressure. It's likely that Iran will be able to rebuild its damaged facilities and resume missile production, though it may take time. The question is not whether Iran will be able to recover, but how long it will take, and what lessons it will learn from this experience. The strikes might spur Iran to further disperse and conceal its missile program, making it even more challenging to target in the future. Section 5. The solid fuel factor, why it matters. The targeting of Khojir, a facility associated with solid-fuel rocket motor production, underscores a crucial aspect of this attack. Solid-fueled missiles are of particular concern because they can be fueled in advance and launched much faster than their liquid-fueled counterparts. This makes them more difficult to detect and intercept, giving Iran a significant strategic advantage. By targeting Khojir, Israel aimed to hinder Iran's progress in developing this critical technology. Solid-fueled missiles would significantly enhance the capabilities of Iran's ballistic missile arsenal, posing a greater threat to Israel and its allies in the region. Section 6. Iran's response, a test of defenses. In the aftermath of the strikes, Iran has vowed revenge, promising a crushing response against Israel. However, the nature and timing of this response remain uncertain. Iran may choose to retaliate directly through missile attacks on Israeli territory or against Israeli interests abroad. Alternatively, it could opt for a more asymmetric approach, activating its network of proxies and militias throughout the region to strike at Israeli targets. The effectiveness of Iran's air defense systems, which failed to prevent the Israeli strikes, will be a subject of much scrutiny. The attacks have exposed vulnerabilities in Iran's defenses, raising questions about their ability to counter sophisticated aerial assaults. Section 7. Regional ramifications, a powder keg on edge. The Israeli airstrikes have ignited a powder keg in an already volatile region. The attacks come at a time of heightened tensions between Iran and the West, with negotiations over the Iran nuclear deal stalled. The strikes have the potential to derail diplomatic efforts and push the region closer to the brink of war. The international community has reacted cautiously to the strikes, with many world leaders calling for restraint and urging both sides to avoid further escalation. However, the attacks have also highlighted the deep divisions within the region, with some countries expressing support for Israel's actions, while others condemning them. The situation remains fluid and unpredictable. The coming days and weeks will be crucial in determining whether the region can step back from the precipice, or whether the Israeli airstrikes mark the beginning of a wider conflict. Section 8. The long game, Iran's military ambitions in the balance. The long-term effects of the Israeli airstrikes on Iran's military capabilities remain to be seen. While the strikes have undoubtedly dealt a blow to Iran's missile program, they are unlikely to derail it entirely. Iran has a long history of resilience and determination in pursuing its strategic objectives. The strikes may even galvanize Iran's resolve to bolster its military capabilities, particularly in areas like missile development and air defense. The Iranian government may view the strikes as confirmation of the need for a strong deterrent force to protect its interests. The attacks highlight the challenges of containing Iran's military ambitions. Military strikes alone are unlikely to solve the complex security challenges posed by Iran. A long-term solution will require a combination of diplomacy, economic pressure, and a credible military deterrent.